Hello and welcome to This is Therapy 20 Minutes in the Mind of a Nigerian. This podcast is brought to you by the Humans of Noohra, which is a part of Noohra Services. And we are so excited to introduce you to our podcast. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yes, so this has been a long time coming. We've been needing a place to have all these conversations, and what better space than on a podcast? And essentially, this podcast exists for one simple reason. So many Nigerians are carrying a lot inside, and we rarely have the space to talk about it honestly. Most of the time, you find that Nigerians will gather together to have a conversation about how the country is not working or how their boss is annoying them. But most of the times, we don't actually talk about ourselves and the things happening within us as individuals, right? And so, this podcast is essentially that space for us when we're tired, when we feel pressured, when we're trying to survive, to succeed, to believe, to stay sane, all of that happening at the same time, and you just really want an outlet to be able to express yourself. So, this is that space, and we're doing it from the context of mental health, right? Because we know that the mental health needs of Africans, of Nigerians, are different from that of the West. Not because of anything else, but our societies are just different and we experience life differently. And so this podcast aims to essentially just give us that space to really have people who relate at a deeper level, whether that's in terms of culture, whether that's in terms of faith or traditions, whatever it is that you're dealing with. Consider this your go to African podcast on mental health. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're not here to tell you what to do with your life. It's not a lecture, it's not a sermon, it's definitely not a place for diagnosis. It's more of a reflective space, right? And consider this next 20 minutes and the 20 minutes every week that we're going to be releasing episodes a place for you to just pause and really name emotions that you usually would not be able to call. We are going to be talking about experiences that we often minimize, and we'll answer questions that many of us are quietly asking. And the coolest part of this is it's not just going to be my voice that you're hearing. Yes, we're going to have different hosts from different walks of life, different genders, different life experiences, and all of this just to ensure that every single listener finds somebody that they can relate to. So you definitely don't want to miss any episode because I'm sure you'll be able to relate to multiple people, in fact. And something that we really, really would love is that our audience is involved with our conversations. And so we're kindly asking that you write into us. We want to explore your mind as an individual. The best part is that all of this is going to be anonymous. So whatever you write into us that we read on the podcast, your name is not going to be mentioned. No one is going to know that it's you. So please feel free to be as open and as honest as possible. Right. So we're looking forward to reading from you every week. So remember, this is the minds of Nigerians. We are not the only Nigerians. So we want to hear what's happening on your mind as well as what's happening on the minds of Nigerians all across the nation. This is a good part for me to pause and ask that you share this with someone that you think is going to be relevant for, because I'm sure whatever age, whatever part of Nigeria they're from, even outside of the world, I'm sure there are so many, not outside of the world, oh, sorry, outside of Nigeria, there are so many people around the world who would want to know how Nigerians think or have a better understanding of the experiences that make Nigerians Nigerians. And so please feel free to share it with as many people as possible, people that you think would find this content relatable. So let's talk about therapy. Remember that our podcast is called This is Therapy. And so we're going to essentially give you a space to make sense of your thoughts. So as you're listening, you might want to start writing down some things based off of the conversations that you hear happening on this podcast. And then as we go through the weeks, we'll be able to address them and, really expand and explore all of them. So while this is not your typical therapy session, we're giving you a soft landing into the experience of therapy, right? I keep saying this, I can't overemphasize it, but this is a safe space, right? So please feel free to just be open with us. And one of the things that we believe at Nura is the fact that awareness has to come before healing. Self awareness is one of the most important steps in your journey of understanding yourself and of really becoming the best version of yourself. And so, one of the things that we aim to do in this podcast is to bring up your awareness level. So, as we're having these conversations, we want your mind to be opened. Please listen with curiosity. And as you do, you'll just begin to see things. I think one of the things that personally I've experienced is sometimes in hearing people saying things, I'm finally able to name experiences or feelings that I've had that I've never really been able to put words to, right? And so that's the beauty of having this space. If you're wondering why we decided to say in the mind of Nigerians or in the mind of a Nigerian, the reason is because our families, our faith, our expectations, our economy, our culture, the strength of it, the not so strong parts of it, the parts that encourage silence, the parts that encourage vocalization of experiences, all of it wraps around together to make who we are as people, right? And we find that the way that we would like to have these mental health conversations is significantly different from how it's had in the West. And so what we're essentially trying to do is ensure that we have a podcast that is culturally grounded. So we're going to be rooted in real life that affects you as a Nigerian. For example, you might have seen or heard me talk about this post I saw on Twitter where someone said that if they had the amount of money that the therapist was asking for, would they need therapy, right? We know that for some of us, our mental health struggles come from a financial experience. So we're going to be exploring that as well, so that at the end of each and every episode, you come out with a new level of knowledge, with a new level of awareness. I will warn you that some episodes will be very uncomfortable, but in a gentle way, right? Because the truth of the matter is that you can't grow if you don't experience some discomfort. Think about it. When you started to outgrow some particular shoes, the way you knew that you were outgrowing the shoe was that it pinched when you wore it, right? And it was uncomfortable. So, in the same way, you're going to have episodes that would be uncomfortable. Some episodes will just absolutely have you rolling on the floor in laughter. Some will feel really comforting, like a warm hug from a family member that you love. Some might feel, challenging, some of your thoughts and beliefs and ideas. But at the end of the day, just have an open mind and know that everything will be for the purpose of you learning, growing, and becoming a better version of yourself. So, whether you're going to be listening in from traffic, from your room, at work, at a late night, whatever the case may be, on Sunday morning, whichever is the situation that you find yourself in, we just want to be a breath of fresh air. And this is going to be therapy, not in the room, not on the couch, but as a conversation. And so, like I said earlier, we definitely want to hear from you. So please, we're going to have a link for you to be able to just post your comments anonymously in the show notes or in the caption, whatever it is that accompanies this podcast. We're going to have a link for you to be able to write in. So please flood us with whatever it is that you would want to say from your mind as a Nigerian or from your mind to a Nigerian. We're not limiting this, um, but we definitely want to start from home. And so we're so looking forward to this experience. We are excited to have you on board. Please don't forget to share, don't forget to like, don't forget to follow the podcast here on Spotify so that we're able to reach many more people and also be able to build a strong community. So, welcome aboard. This is Therapy 20 Minutes in the Mind of a Nigerian. Stick around for every episode coming up shortly. And yes, we are just excited to have you here. Thank you so much and welcome again.